Hey, this is a video for the TRN BA8. As the name would imply, it's 8 balanced armatures per side. Let's get a quick look at it. It looks like the FH3. And there's where any comparisons between the two would end, just in looks. It doesn't sound anything like the FH3. Of course, it's not a hybrid. It doesn't have a dynamic driver, but it was tuned very, very wonky. I'll skip over the music and go right to this. Actually, let me put the music in the background and then show this to you again. Balanced armature sets, in this reviewer's opinion, are most optimal for monitors for musicians or people that are in the studio and they're mixing and mastering. They want everything represented, but they don't want anything interrupting, overlapping, interfering with anything else. They're mastering. They want to hear the replay like the old studio monitors by Sony, the over years that people would use. Accurate, sterile, but that's what they want for that purpose. The U12T by 64 Audio is that, slightly soft with enough musicality to make it very appealing to a lot of people. For this this review, it's not quite musical enough for me, but I can see its appeal to people, and it's porting of a direct purpose. The all BA sets, because dynamic drivers can sometimes create a veil or a haze over the mid frequencies. You got to get that under control, but if you do too much control of the bass, then you kind of neuter it. So what's the point? You take a BA set and you can up the bass a little bit like they did on this, get a similar kind of experience like the dynamic driver, but without the penalty overshadowing the mids, because these drivers are dedicated to the sub bass or the mid bass or the mids or the upper mids or the lower treble or the upper treble or super tweeters. You can do a lot of stuff with all BA sets, but you got to tune them right. And this set, they obviously didn't do that, so I kind of don't understand. This wouldn't be directed towards somebody who wants to enjoy the music, because there's way too much emphasis on stuff like vocals. What I'm listening to right now is Aerosmith. This is the Toys from the Attic, No More, No More. Actually, right now is Round and Round. Steven Tyler sounds way too up, and the guitar, part of the guitar sounds way too emphasized. That's what happens when you put 14 dB. This is a ski slope. That's one of the bigger ones I've seen. This is obnoxious. It's $143. I obviously don't wreck it. I don't know who it's targeted for. Everybody who watches my channel knows that in the $150 range, you could get the Shozy 1.1. You could get there's a lot of stuff in there. How much is the FH3? Like, this doesn't measure up to that at all. It doesn't have a particular, like, oh, this would be good for people that want kind of a balanced monitorish type. No, it's not doing that. It's a V-shaped set, but it doesn't have a dynamic driver, so you're never going to get that low-end impact that a dynamic driver will give you. The mids aren't that good, and the upper mids and early treble are kind of a disaster. So breaking this down into bass, mids, and treble would be me repeating that something doesn't sound right and then doing it again. And I've done those videos before, so I'll try to keep it short. But I get this opportunity to point out a couple things. One, some companies tune their stuff, like they tune it. And it's obvious when you look at the graph, and that they looked at the graph when they did it, because they know what's appealing to the public and they're trying to get that. And now that's not going to appeal to everybody, but like the Monarch and the Clairvoyance, those are going for two different groups of people, but not radically different. Somebody wants a little bit more mid bass is going for the Clairvoyance. Somebody that wants a little more balanced tonality, I guess you would say, would lean towards the Monarch. My personal preference is the Clairvoyance, but you've got two quality items directed at two close but slightly different targets. But they were both considered when they were created. They were tuned. Those sets were tuned. You look at a graph like this and a set like this, and you think that wasn't really tuned. And if it was, for who? Who would listen to this? What would be the library that this would be appropriate for? It wouldn't be anything that you see on my channel. It wouldn't be anything like Aerosmith. It wouldn't be anything like Big Boy. It wouldn't be anything like the Beatles or Bob Marley, Bone Crusher. Wouldn't be anything from Cheap Trick. Wouldn't be anything from Def Leppard. Elton John, no. Fleetwood Mac, I listen to. The Ghetto Boys, no. actually where. Here we go. Oh, here we go. This is a track called Ripple by the Grateful Dead, and it sounds good on just about everything. But it doesn't sound good on this because the acoustic guitar sounds out of tune, kind of, I guess, is the best way to put it. It doesn't sound natural. So even the best, like Steely Dan, Hey 19, you know, another track that really, if I judge a set and I use Steely Dan, Hey 19, people will come in and say, man, let's be real, almost everything sounds pretty good on that because the master is so good and the instruments and just the way that is, it's hard to fuck that up. But this would. I didn't listen to that actually, but Ripple is kind of like Hey 19. Sounds good on just about everything except the worst stuff. Ripple didn't sound good on this, so I'll not waste you guys' time with the in-depth review. I'll save that for a bunch of other stuff that I've got coming up. The Tansio Mirai, I am not an all BA person, but by listening to the Tansio and also graphing it, people, that there's merit to that. Nothing replaces music, but graph is going to give you an indication of what might be emphasized or de-emphasized, and you can make a decision based on that. The TSMR 8 and the Space, they're both APA sets, graph very nicely, and they can be adjusted like all Tansio with the switches, and they actually do something. And the quality control of Tansio over the past 3 years is pretty stellar compared to a lot of companies. So there's a APA set that would be optional if that's kind of what you're going for. So I will get into that. I also got the Unique Melody coming in. I'm going to be doing a video for the Mofacest Trio. Not as enthused about that as I was hoping I would be. The ISN is a different story. I do like that set, so I'll get into that later. Tuners, get some and profit. Make that money. Make more money by tuning instead of sticking APAs that are brand name and naming them. Hold on just a second. Let me give you an example here. Okay. New release 3 custom 30095 29689 50. I'm assuming these are Knowles, right? Probably Belsing. I think they're Knowles. So you're advertising the drivers, but there's no real effort to put them together in a way that's going to appeal to monitors, people that want to have something like a very affordable ghetto U12T. It's not appealing to people that want to listen to something that's slightly dark, where you could drop this treble, elevate the low end a little bit, and give an accurate, unveiled, because you don't have the dynamic driver, but long-term listen set, you could do something like that. I don't know who this is targeted for, so I'll let you guys go. Don't buy it. Okay. All right. Buy it, don't buy it. That's too much. I wouldn't buy it. All right. I wouldn't buy it. And I'm out.